Over the centuries, the English countryside has provided the setting for many of the most magnificent stately homes to be found anywhere in Europe. With time, many have been destroyed, torn down, or abandoned. Some have managed to survive. This is the story behind 10 of them, 10 unique and splendid houses, behind whose doors stand many of the nation's artistic and cultural treasures, most of them still homes to the families who built them, all of them living monuments, linked by 1,000 years of English history. It was the first of the great stately homes of England to open its doors regularly to the public, but its real fame lies in its history. This is what became known as the Treasure House of the West, widely regarded as the finest example of high Elizabethan architecture to be found anywhere in Britain. Longleat was built by John Thynne, who rose to wealth in the Tudor court from his lowly position as a clerk of the kitchen. Knighted in 1547, Sir John used his considerable wealth and energy to build one of England's first Renaissance palaces. The Great Hall is one of the few remaining Elizabethan rooms in Longleat. It still bears the massive hammer beams which, having been cut from 500-year-old seasoned oak in their day, started life nearly a millennium ago. The greater part of the house, though, was redecorated in Victorian times by the 4th Marquess. The new decor was inspired by the interiors of Italian palaces and feature an abundance of ornate painted ceilings and miles of gilt. Its overt opulence and lavish furnishings gave Longleat one of the most spectacular interiors of any house of its type. The Red Library is one of no less than 7 at Longleat, which together form one of the most important private collections in Europe. This room houses among its 5,000 volumes many significant books about the French Revolution. Painted cameos in the style of ivory carvings adorn one of Longleat's most spectacular and heavily gilded ceilings, designed in 1878 by J.D. Crace, who became famous for such elaborate decor. Reflecting such detailed craftsmanship, the furniture in this room is of the finest order. This Louis XIV bureau Mazarin, by the widely imitated Charles Boulle, features rare distinctive blue tortoiseshell panels, alongside traditional marquetry. Until World War II, this lower dining room was used by the family for meals every day. The table is laid with a huge service of Sèvres porcelain, which took craftsmen 8 years to complete. Each piece of Sèvres is hand-painted with different floral decorations. Set in the beautiful Wiltshire countryside, Longleat's surroundings are as impressive as its interior. Improvements are made every year to make this a stately home with something for everyone. Visitors are invited to lose themselves at Longleat, and it provides the longest hedge maze in the world in which to do so. In the 1960s, Longleat created the first safari park outside Africa. and today the slogan of preserving the past and protecting the future lives on in the extraordinary variety of creatures which inhabit the grounds. The well-established monarchs of the animal kingdom and most famous residents of the estate are, of course, the lions of Longleat. Such has been the love of nature at Longleat that at one stage in its history the outdoors was brought inside by the fifth Marquess, who had the carpet in the state drawing-room dyed bright green as a surprise for her husband. The whole of the interior decoration in this sumptuous stateroom was designed by Grace. Naturally, the emphasis is placed again on the elaborate ceiling, this time adapted from the library at St. Mark's Cathedral. Amongst its treasures, the state drawing-room boasts the earliest painting in the house, Tintoretto's 16th-century masterpiece of St. Catherine and St. Lucy, and a very rare Louis XVI-style drum clock. Rather than the hands rotating, the numbers revolve on the drum, while the decorative pointer remains static. A rather less traditional style of interior decoration has been adopted by the present Lord Bath in his own private apartments, which are also open to the public.
It had been intended for a muralist like Watteau or perhaps Boucher or Fragonard to fill. They'd never got round to it. And I was an art student, so I felt it would be chicken if I didn't try doing my own hand at this. There's three kinds of subject matters to all the paintings I've done in these quarters. They're either cocoons, therapies, or fantasies. This is an example of that. It's a cocoon which I call The Ages of Man. They're all around the subject of my life, but I'm trying to cure myself of particular things that I would like to change in.
Continuing the pioneering ideas of his late father, the present Lord Bath has his own very definite ideas for future attractions at Longleat.
There's quite a possibility that the main funding in the future will be by getting people to be phoning in on an internet and really exploring the treasures of the house that way. That's quite a possibility. It's not necessarily going to be in my lifetime, but it might be.
One of Longleat's great strengths is that it is a place of such dramatic contrasts. A series of 17th-century Flemish tapestries depicting the life of Cyrus, King of Persia, hang in the saloon, itself a treasure trove within a treasure trove. This Louis XV parquetry games table by Guillaume Kemp features a removable top and caters for a multitude of games of the period. The massive marble-hooded fireplace is by Grace and is surrounded by treasures collected from all over Europe to decorate what is probably Longleat's most impressive room. Not that even this comes as a great surprise. This is, after all, one of Europe's grandest and most breathtaking of stately homes.